This is my family. This is Wick, Watson, and my wife Brooke. And we're going to tell you a little bit about what happened 4 years ago in our backyard pool. Just to kind of fill in the details, we did have a fence around the pool at the time. These two guys had been, they had learned to swim. They had been in swim class since probably before they were 1 year old. So they were pretty proficient in swimming and kind of knew their way around the pool. But of course, we were always with them, especially at that age. So Wick is 10 now. He was 6 at the time, and Watson was 4. And it was sometime in August, we were in the pool swimming as a family. Brooke decided to go inside and kind of wash the chlorine out of her hair, and she left me out with the boys to kind of play for a little bit longer. We were actually right here on this side of the pool. You can see it's kind of a long rectangular shape. Wick was getting, like I said, pretty good at swimming, and he was showing me some tricks that he could do. So he was kind of right in this area here, and he was doing like flips under the water. I said, "Dad, check me out. Look what I can do. I can do these flips." I said, "Oh, that's very cool." Watson had some like floaty devices and was just kind of hanging around. At that point, it was late in the day. It was getting dark, and kind of a funny trick that I like to play is go to the end of the pool. The pool light was on, and when you cover up the pool light, when it's dark outside, the water goes black, and the kids kind of get scared and they think it's fun. So I took the kind of slow walk to the end of the pool, covered up the pool light, and then turned around. And when I looked in that direction, I saw Watson, but I didn't see Wick. So I said, "Oh, I think I even said his name." I said, "Wick, are you there?" I thought he had gotten out of the pool. And then I thought, I'm just going to look under the water. I had goggles on. I looked under the water, and he was right about here. He was not on the bottom, and he was not on the surface. He was just floating, lifeless. So I, as quickly as I could, got back to this side of the pool, grabbed him out, came up the steps, and set him right here on the ground. I'm not a healthcare professional, but I work in healthcare, and I had some CPR training a long time ago, and kind of remembered as best I could what chest compressions to do, and it was awful. I was like screaming for my wife, and she wasn't coming, and there wasn't, anybody there to help. So it was pretty frightening. But anyway, so I continued doing the chest compressions. He was not awake, alert, responding. And so at that point, I realized I got to do something. I got to get inside so we can call someone. And I picked him up and squeezed him. And as I was squeezed him to go inside, he started to choke and cough. And then it started to come back, to respond, to breathe, to be a little bit more alert. He was kind of dazed and confused. And I ran in the house, and Brooke had no idea what had just happened. And he was still a little groggy and dazed, and so I have a friend on the fire department. I called him right away, and I was sort of stumbling over my words, and he said, "Matt, what happened?" And I told him that Wick had basically, taken on water in the pool, and he said, "Just hang up with me and call the fire department." So we called. They came right away, like within minutes, 2 minutes. Blake on the end here was leading the crew that night, and he came. It was kind of funny because we're not friends, but I had seen Blake around at the school where our kids go, so it was almost like it was meant to be. And he gave Wick a thorough checkup, made sure that he was okay in that moment. But he said, "Look, after what he's just been through, he's got to go spend the night at the hospital, and we can take him there, or you can take him there." So we ended up taking Wick to the hospital. He had some fluid in his lungs, but he was fine and kind of fully recovered after the next day. But we're so grateful to the fire department just for their responsiveness, just putting us at ease in that moment when you're just so frightened and you don't know what's going on. And then just kind of even the rudimentary training in CPR that I had, I think that helped in some small way. So we're so grateful that this guy is standing here now. And I think the message, if there's a message for anybody, I think, you know, living in Arizona, you think you hear it just takes a few seconds message, and that's true. You don't realize how true it is until it happens to you. And I think sort of the lie that I believed was that, you know, as long as I'm out with my kids, this can't happen. But it happened while I was in the pool with my kids, so just like that. So if you have some training, if you don't have training, get some training. And then we're just so lucky to live in a place where we've got first responders like these. So thank you very much.